Hi guys, welcome to our video on subtracting integers. Ms. Starrett had the video last time on adding integers, so if you remember, an integer is any number, any positive whole number, its opposite and zero. And remember, any distance from zero is going to be absolute value. So we're going to start off with counters here, and I'm going to use red for negative and black for positive. So let's look at our first thing. We've got negative 5, so the first thing I want to do is draw 5 negative counters, okay? And then it's telling me to subtract negative 3. So that means I'm going to take away 3 negatives. So if I take away 3 negatives, what am I left with? I'm left with 2 negatives. So my answer is negative 2, okay? On the second one, you're always going to start over here on the left. This is 3 minus a negative 2. This one gets a little bit tricky, okay? So we have 3 positives, okay? And then it says to take away 2 negatives. But I don't have any negatives, so how am I supposed to take them away? So this is where your zero pairs come in. Remember, if you have a zero pair, right, this equals 0 because 1 minus 1 is 0. So when I add that to the problem, I haven't changed the value. So I'm going to add as many zero pairs as I need to be able to take away the negatives. So all I've done is I have 3 positives. I've added 2 zero pairs, right? It doesn't change it, but now what I've done is I've given myself 2 negative counters that I can take away. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to take away 2 negatives. So I'm going to take this one away, and I'm going to take this one away. So I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer is 5. Okay? Then this second one, we're going to start off with 8 negatives, because it says minus 8. Okay? And I'm going to add another 2 negatives. Okay? And then I just count them. I have 8 plus 2 is negative 10. Okay, this is just another representation of integers using counters. You need to know how to recognize that when you see them on tests and things like that. So let's go ahead and move on to using a number line to subtract integers. Okay guys, so now we're going to talk about using a number line to model subtracting integers. So it's basically just the same as when Ms. Starrett did it. So you're always going to start at 0, and then you're going to look at your first number, which is a negative 8. So that means I'm going to start here at 0, and I'm going to go all the way back to negative 8. So this is where I am. Now this becomes a little tricky because you're going to subtract a negative 2. Remember, when you have the subtraction sign, it means that you're going to turn around and go the opposite direction. So instead of going this way 2, you're going to turn around and go back 2. And you find out where are you located. And right now we are at negative 6. So our answer is negative 6. Okay? So the second one is 4 minus 6. So remember, you're always going to start at 0. So you start at 0, and we're going to go forward 4. Right? We end up at 4. And then minus 6 means that you're going to go backwards 6. So we're going to start here. And we know that we go back 4 to get to 0, and then 2 more to go 6. And we stop here at negative 2. Okay? And if you notice here where they overlap, these are your zero pairs, right? Because you've got a positive and a negative on top of each other, right? So let's do just a couple more. All right, and number 3, remember, start at 0, and we're going to go back to negative 3. So there I am. And then it says to subtract 4, which means I'm going to go backwards 4 more. Okay? So that brings me back to a negative 7. Okay, last one. Go ahead and I want you guys to pause the video and try that one on your own, and then come and check the answer.
Okay.
Okay guys, so this is what you should have done. Remember, you're always going to start at 0, and it's a negative 2. So you're going to start at 0 and go back 2. And then it says subtract 4 minus 4, which means you're going to go backwards 4 more. All right, so you should end up here at negative 6. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is we've learned two ways to do it. We've learned it through counters and we've learned it through number lines. And remember, we talk about modeling is very important in order for you to recognize it. But if you can come up with a rule you think that will work for subtracting integers without using the models, I want you to think about that for a second. And then right now, once you're done with that, I want you to read the word problems, try those out, and then pause the video and come back and see how you did. Okay guys, here's the word problems. Now there's something that I want you guys to notice. In your word problem, it used the word sea level. Always remember that sea level is equal to 0. Okay? And all we do is we have a vertical number line now instead of a horizontal number line. So he was 7 feet above and 50 feet below. So it wants to know the distance between the top and the bottom. Okay? So all you're doing is you're finding the distance from here to here, which is 7, and the distance from here to here, which is 50. So his total distance is going to be 57 feet. You're basically just adding them together. And the expression you would use would be 7 minus negative 50. Okay? Then on the second one, they're talking about yards lost and yards gained. So what I do when you have a lot of integers that you need to add and subtract is you group all your positives together, like I did here. He rushed for 92 yards, 22 yards, right? He had gains here. And then these are his losses. He lost 5 yards and lost 4 yards. Then what you do is that you combine. So all of his positive yards added up to positive 132. And all of his lost yards, because he lost 5 and then lost 4, ended up with losing 9 yards. So really all you're doing is now you're doing 132 minus 9, which you guys have been doing subtraction since, what, 2nd grade? 132 minus 9 comes up to a total of 123 yards gained. Okay? So I want you to think about what the rule is for subtracting integers. We've done a variety of ways in the video, but we will talk in class tomorrow about what the actual rule is. And I'm sorry I'm not going to sing a song like Miss Starrett. She's much better than I am. But you guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the larger one, then you'll be...
Okay, and then don't forget to write the answer to your summary. You need to tell us what you think the rule is for subtracting integers. You might be wrong, that's okay, but just look back at your notes and let us know what you think, and then we're going to talk about it in class.